Welcome, and I'd love to call this meeting to order. I am going to invite our superintendent, Mr. Parker, to say a few words before we move on with our agenda.
All right. So today has the potential to be a historic day. I'm pretty sure, should the board accept this bid, Scott County would become the only community in the state with 2 brand new high schools. In 1994, the funding did not exist to build a new Scott County high school, but our resourceful school and community leaders found a way. How fortunate are we today compared to those times? I guess most school board members, they're not fortunate enough to have the opportunity to ever build a new high school during their tenure. Some school boards go generations without having the opportunity to build even one high school for their community. But as a result of the nickel tax that was levied 5 years ago, in addition to the construction of Creekside Elementary School, the Georgetown Middle School addition, the Stamping Ground Elementary addition, the energy savings measures completed district-wide through our Energy Savings Project, the Northern Elementary re-roof project, and the forward-thinking purchase of property for the construction of Elementary Number 10. Our community is blessed to have the potential tonight for our fiscally responsible board to continue marching down the path towards not just one new high school in Great Crossing High School, but a second new high school and a new Scott County High School. This would result in all of our high school students having a chance to one day graduate from one of 2 1A high schools with first-class facilities. Actions tonight could impact roughly half of our high school students, meaning those students attending Scott County High School, and put us on a trajectory to impact both middle and high school students attending Phoenix Academy, as well as over 1/3 of our district's middle school students, meaning those students attending Scott County Middle School. This day's been a long time coming. I might suggest it could not have come sooner. Board members are most certainly entitled to change their minds, and we do have a new board member since we started down this path. But up to this point, the Scott County Board of Education has demonstrated through previous actions that we were on a path towards this day since the initial BG1 was first approved by a unanimous vote of the board such a long time ago in February of 2021. I still remember when we opened bids for Great Crossing High School. Less than 5 years ago, August 17th, 2017, we opened bids at 2 p.m. and accepted bids at a board meeting that very night, just 4.5 hours later, on a project that came in higher than projected. This time around, there's some differences. The biggest difference being that we had one bid, and that bid was so high it could not be considered. But the bid was provided by a contractor with whom we have a very positive working relationship. And because of that, we engaged in negotiations to explore if it would even be possible to get to a point where we could consider accepting a bid. It's been 23 long days since the bid opening up for the new Scott County High School, and a lot of work's been done by a lot of people to bring a negotiated bid to the table that I could feel comfortable recommending to the board. I'd like to sincerely thank the board for their patience as we worked through the process. I would like to thank Tony Thomas, David Samakar, and the Klopfelter-Samakar team and their design team, Tyler Wilson and their engineering team at Shrout Tate Wilson, Doug Wilburn and Darren Jones and their construction team at D.W. Wilburn Incorporated, Chip Sutherland, Kelly Mersick and their fiscal team at Baird, Mayor Prather and Georgetown Municipal Water and Sewer Services. I'd like to thank all of them for their efforts collaborating with us to get to this point. And I'd finally like to thank Dwayne Ellison for carrying me to the finish line on this part of the journey with this project. No one outside of the 2 of us really understand how much has gone into the last 23 days. If the bid is accepted, the contractor has every intention to try to have this project completed by August of 2024. And with that in mind, every day we wait is a potential day that we could be turning dirt. So I thank the board for their willingness to meet on such short notice. I wanted to address a few basic questions that the average person might have about this project. Number 1, is it within our bonding capacity? Yes. Number 2, does it cripple our ability to engage in future projects? No. Our bonding capacity can change, and bonding capacity is due to influences in the world that fluctuate. But as of Friday, our bonding capacity was $145 to $146 million. This project, as you'll see on the revised BG1, is just over $105 million. Does it require us to further raise taxes? No. Does it require us to cut any programs that exist at any of our schools? No. Does it require us to cut employee pay? No. With regard to programs and employee pay, I do want to point out, because there's always the misconception that people have, the funding that's used for school construction is different than the funding that's used for paying our employees or for our instructional programs. So we can't use those different pots of funds for those two different things. And the last thing I'd say is, why are athletics not included in this project? In February 21, that was the first time the board tried to approve the initial BG1. At that time, we submitted the approved BG1 from the board to the Department of Education. You all recall that it took us 4 months for the Department of Education to finally approve our BG1. And in order to get them to approve the BG1, they required us to pull the athletics off of the project. While Great Crossing High School is permitted to be built with construction funds, and they allowed us to put athletics on the form, the rules changed. Or I guess a better way to explain it is they started enforcing rules that existed previously. It put us in a difficult position, but you all will recall that I also went through the process of trying to obtain a waiver so that we would be permitted to use school construction funds for the athletic purposes. And we've gotten that waiver. So we are able to do athletics in the future for Scott County High School, but that's why it was not included in this project. One little nugget that I haven't really shared with anybody, because I didn't know how, to what level this might impact us, and I wanted to wait until closer to this meeting, but short-term interest rates are something that haven't been high enough for us to see an impact for when we bond this project. If we were to bond this project, potentially we could earn as much as $2 million back through us investing the bonded portion of the project that we don't have to have at the ready to pay out for the project. Other concerns that sometimes have come up here lately have been supply and material shortages, inflation in general, labor, and to a lot of those, I've really just said this, people know D.W. Wilburn, they swing a big stick. He's super influential. I've seen him open up an asphalt plant with a simple phone call. I'm not concerned about any of that. I also would say that he's already warned his subs, all the subcontractors. He's told them, if this project goes, the minute it goes, it's on you to get these materials, and it's on you to store these materials until needed. So we talked about the potential for us using space within the district to store materials, but that's not something that they would even want to entertain. They said, no, we've got this. You all just sign on to do the project, and we'll take care of that. The main thing I would say, if DT's in here, he might throw something at me for saying the C word, but I'm going to say it. The main thing COVID taught me is that our community is over putting our lives on hold until things are normal. Putting this project on hold until things get better, I might suggest that our board consider talking to Fayette County's board, because in the fall they bid out the Polo Club Middle School project, and it came back at around $350 a square foot, which at that time was historic. I've confirmed that they're rebidding the project. Nothing about the scope of the project will change, and they understand completely that the likelihood for them to receive any bid remotely close to what they got back in the fall is not going to happen. The cost of this project, even with negotiations, it is higher than hoped, but we have engaged in the process. We've done it the right way, and we've gotten the price down to a range that we are seeing in the market. This is a big decision for our board, and I ask that whatever way they feel compelled to vote, that our community remember that we all want the same thing, and that is a better future for our students in our community. And now I want to also let everybody know that I stand at the ready, prepared to go back to the drawing board for Scott County High School should this bid not be accepted. Lastly, to our board, I wanted to share that I completely understand the levity of this decision, but I want you to know that should this project move forward, I'm ready to stand by your side as we break this historic ground and get this project to completion. Mr. Ellison, if you don't mind to come forward with Mr. Samakar, and I'll turn the meeting back over to our board chair.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining us. Number 3, consider and approve bid for BG number 21-200, New Scott County High School.
Move to approve.
No, I. Thank you.
I move to approve the bid for BG 21-200 for the new Scott County High School.
I have a first.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Madam Chair, just to clarify, was there additional language to that motion?
The rationale?
No, recommended motion.
Recommend motion to approve the award bid and negotiate by
There's another agenda.
Right.
I am not seeing it on
I mean,
my,
recommended, I read it from the top.
what are you looking for?
The recommended motion for item number 3,
Yes.
approve an award bid to be negotiated by the superintendent with GW Wilburn Incorporated, subject to the necessary approval by the KDE for the BG number 21-220 New Scott County High School, not to exceed $93 million.
Correct.
You like that better?
Yes, is that your motion?
Yes, that is my motion.
I'll second it.
Josh.
Get it right, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Josh, I'm going to jump in here. On number, before I read the next one, do you want the rationale read as well?
No, ma'am, the recommended motion.
All right, thank you. Number 4, consider and approve revised BG1 for New Scott County High School.
Move to approve revised BG1 for BG number 21-220 New Scott County High School based on the maximum amount that the superintendent has been authorized to negotiate for the related bid.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, authorize superintendent to negotiate and enter into interim contract.
Move. Second.
All in favor?
Do you want me to read all that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so in this circumstance, an interim contract,
No,
maybe,
no, the recommended motion is what you.
Okay.
At the bottom.
right, okay. Authorize superintendent to negotiate and enter into an interim contract with DW Wilburn Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $200,000 and subject to terms to be negotiated by the superintendent.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Number 6.
I made a motion to adjourn.
Stole your line.
Now those are fighting words. Do I have a second?
I second Wendy's motion to adjourn.
Is there any rationale?
We're ready to go home. We have a minute.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Got it so late.
All right, thank you, good night.